saw in the email that we shared, we are going to start doing some video calls in lieu of getting you all together in a networking platform. Bill's going to share with you, is it work portfolio? Is that right? Experience tips, and go through how we can continue to help you through level 2. Keep in mind, this in no way impacts our ability to help you through emails or phone calls to our team or mentors independently. And we'll still shoot to conduct a in-person 9-hole scramble and networking session. But I'm going to turn it over to Bill to share with you today more information as you continue to work through your journey in becoming a PGA professional.
Absolutely. Thank you, Meredith. Well said for sure. And professionals, good morning to all of you. I know you're in your height of your season right now. Certainly, as a PGA Master Professional in South Florida section, much of my career, I'm certainly delighted to be able to spend a little bit of time, help you with your work experience portfolio, and kind of give you some tips along the way about things that we saw that kind of like been the typical weaknesses. And as you all know, the work experience portfolio is an assessment. It is graded. It has to be completely, all the activities have to be passed in order for you to go ahead and take the exam. So I've worked in education nearly over the last decade, and so I'll be more than happy to assist. And as Meredith said so nicely, it's open. We've got a mentor line. We've got some fabulous PGA professionals in the section that are willing to be mentors to help you get to the finish line. So again, before I begin, I think you all know what the National Mentor Line is. Please, please, please give them a call if you have any questions whatsoever. We're honored, the staff's honored at PGA Education to answer any questions that you have pertaining to the work experience portfolio, anything you want to discuss as you prepare through level 2. So the mentor line number is 866-866-3382, and then option 6. And any of the staff that answers the mentor line certainly will be more than happy and honored to go ahead and assist you with your deal. So what I'm going to go over today, professionals, is I'm going to go over the first 6 activities in the work experience portfolio. There's actually 11 total. So I'm going to do 6 activities that'll be shown, and then we'll pick up the other 5 at a later date. So I'm going to start off and look, and I'll kind of give you a highlight of the 6 activities, and then we'll get into detail and actually pull them up. So activity 1 is a facility organizational chart. The thing to remember is the first 4 activities in your work experience portfolio are case study activities. What does that mean? Whether you selected Crescent Ridge, the public course at level 1, or Summit Valley, the private course at level 1, you're going to stick with that. So your first 4 activities in the work experience portfolio is your case study. It's important, ladies and gentlemen, to really look at the detail. Our staff has done a magnificent job laying out the details in each of the activities. So take your time with it. It's really well orchestrated. It's very well explained. We're looking for more detail, not short little NAs or yes or no's. So really give you an opportunity here to show who you are, show your knowledge. So we're going to kind of start off at activity 1 is facility organizational chart. We'll kind of get into that, what it is. Activity 2 is staffing payroll model. What was your staffing number last year? And I've got those numbers that I'll share with you as we get into the activity. Activity 3 is an action plan. What are you going to do? We'll kind of get into detail on that. Activity 4 is you're going to actually create a policy and a procedure. Activity 5 is coordination and collaboration within golf operation, meaning within your golf operation, and then beyond golf operation, meaning your F&B, meaning your agronomy team, and so forth. And then activity 6, revenue management, yield management, really, really a hot topic in the industry today, as many of you probably are very, very aware of, is taking a look at your tee sheet, analyzing your tee sheet, performing an hour by hour analysis. What does your T-sheet look like? What can we do to enhance the T-sheet? What can we do to take advantage of low utilization times or high utilization time? How do we balance it all out? So it's a really, really cool area right there. So let me go ahead and kind of start it off here, and we'll kind of get started with looking at the activities itself. I'll kind of pull those up. So as you all know, if you remember from level 1, level 2 is here's your dashboard. You're going to click on level 2 portfolio. Okay, scroll down to the bottom. Level 2 activities. Okay. The simulations, if you recall at level 1, they're yours. You automatically get credit for those in your portfolio. You don't have to take them again, but they're a really great resource for you to have, whether it's the merchandising and inventory management sim, or proven sales technique sim, or proven sales to improve your bottom line. These are really, really well done, very, very rewarding resource that could certainly help you, in your career. So again, you don't have to turn in a simulation in your portfolio. You automatically get credit because we did show those in the actual seminars itself. There is an access to each of the seminar simulations. If you need those, just call the mentor line if you don't have them, and they'll be more than happy to help you. So now let's get into the actual portfolio itself. So it begins, first of all, at level 2, and it's a question that's always, what's the ultimate goal here? Is to pass level 2. Obviously, you want to become level 3. I always look at level 2 professionals as you made the Friday night cut, because majority of our fallout in the program happens at level 1. So you've made it. You made it through Friday night. You're teeing it up on Saturday morning. And the level 2 exam is one exam. It's 140 questions, and you've got to pass 70% or better. As far as preparing for the exam, you all have your own style. You all have passed level 1. So the key thing to remember in the exam itself at all the different levels is all the questions are based off of the learning outcomes via course manual. So I've always recommended to my professionals that I've mentored over the years is look at the actual course, the actual learning outcome. Find that in the course manual and write a little paragraph on what that means. Really a great way to study. Don't mess around with Quizlet. We don't monitor that. We do offer the practice questions on the portal, which there's a couple hundred of them. That's up to you if you want to kind of dive through some of them. There's no answers, obviously. So, but I've always, for time sensitivity, for time management, I've always recommended, again, the learning outcomes at the beginning of each course via course manual. So let's kind of get into each of these, and I'm going to be covering the the facility management portfolio portion. There is also, as many of you know, at level 2 and 3, some of you might have selected teaching and coaching as a career track. Some of you might have selected executive management. Due to the majority of our associates are in the golf facility management. So if you have any questions, those of you who are in the teaching and coaching activity career path or the executive management career path, please call the mentor line. Let them know you're in teaching and coaching. We've got expert teaching and coaching professionals in our arena. We've got experts in our executive management arena. So please go ahead and reach out to them. So facility management overview. So activity 1, again, facility organizational chart. It is your case study, meaning is it Crescent Ridge, the public facility, or is it Summit Valley, the private facility? So we're going to open this up. And here what we're looking at is you're going to analyze your current organizational chart from your case study facility. So when you look at, and again, this is golf operations only. We're not including food and beverage. We're not including any other facility management or anything like that. Strictly golf operations, okay? Including your part-timers, your full-timers, your managers, your head professional, your general manager if you have one, along with any other things you have in your operation between your golf car fleet, your teaching, your player development program, your merchandising, your tournaments. So the key thing here is to look at your organizational chart. You can go back to level 1 and look at what you've had. And now the talent here, and this is real life, all these work experience portfolios, I've lived through those in my career as an operator over 25 years, is let's look at them and let's make some recommendations for any new or reassigned positions that you think you can get through the board or get through the owner based on where you think your facility's strong and where you think your facility's weak. So again, the organizational chart is nothing but reporting. It shows you, if you remember at level 1, there's a rubric. So we expect all of you to get at least 3. That's adequate. But 4s and 5s is really what we're looking for. I don't see anybody being less than 3. If you're struggling at a goal, again, call the mentor line. So again, we're going to analyze our case study. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to put in the type of facility. You got Crescent Ridge, which is a public facility. How many rounds did you do how many rounds are you projecting for the following year? So I could give you that number. Crescent Ridge, the public golf course, last year did 26,250 rounds. So what are you projecting for the following year? Where Summit Valley, not as important the rounds because it is a private facility, did 23,768, I believe, and I'm really close right there. And then how many employees did they have, full and part-time? And where are you strong? Where are your strengths? And what are your weaknesses as far as in terms of workflow and communication? And then when you get there, now let's describe recommendations. You're going to come to your general manager. You're going to come to your course owner. You're going to come to your board of directors. Why do you need that position? So if you're looking for a new tournament operation manager, why? Okay. You got to always remember everything's return on investment. So it's easy to say, I need 4 more people here. I need 3 more people here. But as a business savvy mind, which I'm very confident you all have, a lot of you are working harder with less. You really got to look at your organizational chart. Again, an organizational chart is nothing but showing who reports to who. Okay. It does not determine your staffing numbers. And I'm going to say that one more time. An organizational chart just basically shows who reports to who. Okay. Who reports to who. When I was in education prior to retiring in June, because I decided not to go to Frisco, Texas, because of family and my core values, I reported directly to Todd Sammons, Director of Education. Todd Sammons reported to Doss Marlette. He was a senior director. Doss Marlette reported to the above John Easterbrook, our chief in membership. So that's a good example. It has nothing to do with your determining your staffing numbers. That's going to be the next activity. So basically, understanding org chart just shows you your layout, who reports to who. Okay. So now we get into activity 2. Again, case study, which means Crescent Ridge or Summit Valley. Here you're going to analyze your case study before moving onward. And I'm going to give you a number here. So you're going to have basically in here your payroll. So for Crescent Ridge or Summit Valley, your year 5 labor was, for Crescent Ridge, the public golf course, it was $253,543. For the private facility, Summit Valley, it was $438,415. So that's your numbers for year 5. So what's your revised forecast for year 6? Are you happy with that number? If you're going to increase it, you've got to tell us why. Again, ROI, return on investment. If you're going to decrease it, I'm not sure if you're going to do that, but if you did that, give us some examples. So in year 5, those numbers I just gave you, 253 and 438, was that adequate? You've got to explain them. We don't just want to say yes or no. Give us an example why you think it is and why you think it isn't. And professionals, this is such an important part of your life. It's our number 1 controllable expense line item in the industry is labor. I spent a lot of time in my life trying to be as lean as possible, but very, very productive and providing the service levels. When I was fortunate to be hired by PGA of America to open up the PGA Golf Club as the first general manager, sure, I had thousands of millions of dollars, but it was a model facility. So I wanted to make sure whatever program I put in place in our staffing, that other facilities could mirror that. It's not the Ritz-Carlton where I came from prior to PGA Golf Club, where you have 4-to-1, guest to one employee. That's fantasy land, and we all know that. So you want to be as thin as possible to really provide the level of service that your brand and your facilities would do it. So what financial results and return on investment will be expected? So if you say, for instance, I'm weak in merchandising, I need a new merchandise, it's going to cost me $30,000. You need to explain, can you return on that investment? So that's what this is right here, okay? I already gave you the numbers for year 5. So take those numbers and then you decide what you want to do with them, okay? And then activity 2A is you're putting those numbers in, which means, for instance, if you decide on Crescent Ridge, you go from $253,543 to $270,000, you've got to make sure that this spreadsheet equals the $270,000. Okay, so I'll say that one more time. So if you decide on $270,000 on the bottom, you've got to make sure that these numbers all equal it. And head professional, you're just taking an estimation, assistant professionals, and so forth. So that's kind of like just mirrors. It just shows you the spread of whatever number you come up with. You're showing it to us in detail. Okay, so that's activity 2. Okay, activity 3 is action plan. Again, it is your case study, Crescent Ridge, Summit Valley, and here you're creating or you're revising a strategy, whether it's a promotional strategy, an operational strategy, or a financial strategy. And then you're going to develop an action plan. You're really going to get into step by step by step. So one of your objectives in level 1 work experience portfolio, whether it's increasing total rounds at the public facility, whether it's increasing equity members at the private facility, give us a case by case by case in details what you need to make that happen. Okay. And this is a really cool activity. So basically what it says right here is you're going to create an action plan based on the information. Okay. And it's going to be step by step by step by step by step. For instance, specific business objective. It must be SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. So Crescent Ridge, I'm sure majority of you in class at the public golf course increase their total rounds. That's our number 1 revenue producer in public, isn't it? Rounds. So increase total rounds by 10% by year end. How are you going to do it? What's going to be your activities to do it? What do you need to do it? What type of resources do you need to do it? Who needs to know about it? And what are your timelines? So we're really looking for some great detail right here. Really some good detail. What do you need to get it done? What type of strategy what do you need to get that done? You can have promotional strategies, operational strategies, financial strategies, i.e. an operational strategy would be conducting leagues, get aggressive with some leagues. A promotional strategy would be going out to the new 400-unit hotel and promote the product, promote your brand, promote your facility. Financials would be buy 3, get 1 free. I don't like the word discount, and that's just my own personal, because once you come down that elevator, it's hard to get back up to the top floor. So again, get more into different type of strategy. So a lot of good information here. As far as a private facility, your business objective was probably, and again, if you don't remember what it is, just use rounds for the public, use membership for the private. So membership increased total equity family members by 5 by year end. What's your supporting strategy? How are you going to, is it promotional, operational, financial, and what are you going to do about it? Step by step by step, a lot of detail. And a lot of this is just your personal experience. So again, really good activity. Activity 4 is creating a policy and a procedure. Key factor Policies and procedures are so important. One of the first things I've done when I opened up the PGA Golf Club, staffing, put together policies and procedures. That's your system. That's part of your training program. That's part of your culture. That's part of your branding. That's part of who you are. So creating a policy and creating a procedure. So a policy would be simply, what's your rain check policy? And what is your procedure? Step by step by step. And we're not looking for anything like my rain check policy is that they play less than 9 holes, they get 9-hole credit. They play more than 9 holes, they get 6 holes, whatever. We're not asking for that. Everything from how do you do it in your business system. So somebody who came in the first day on the job would actually know how the procedure on how to give a rain check. So it's actually a training program. It's a system you're putting in place that I promise you will make your life so much easier. More detail, better it is. In this particular activity, what they're asking for right here is to look at your merchandising. Look at your merchandising operation and create a policy and a procedure based on your merchandise operation. So what you're going to do here is you're going to describe, again, case study, you're going to describe where you're strong and where you're weak in your merchandise operation. What's your strengths and what are your weaknesses? So go ahead and list those. Now, obviously here you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 8 spots. We want at least 5 or 6, okay? Not 2. If you have 6 or 7, that's cool enough. Preferably we like them all, but give us a majority of them. Put a lot of effort into it, again, because it is an assessment. What's your weaknesses in merchandise? And then here, you want to develop a policy and a procedure to really correct your weaknesses in your operation, step by step by step. And then, do you have the proper resources? Do you have the proper staffing? Do you have the proper system in place? So here's one example here. So a procedure right here would be, what's your proper inventory management? Okay. So what are you going to do? How do you manage your inventory from start to finish? Everything from identify your steps, the steps of purchasing, the steps of managing your inventory. How do you communicate with your vendors, your purchase order procedures, your receipt of your merchandise when it comes in. So that's what that is. Very detailed. Okay. And in your own life, professionals, you've got a policy and a procedure for everything in your operation. Think about your rain checks. Think about your demo days, your demo clubs. Think about your golf cart fleet. Think about merchandise returns. Think about on your intervals and your tee times. I mean, you have your policy and procedures manual is huge, and it comes, put it in all different departments. And then it's a really great training tool. I highly recommend it. You can have your staff absolutely help you in all the different areas. So policies and procedures are such a valuable resource for yourself and your career for sure. So activity 5, now we get into your facility. So case studies done. The first 4 activities, Crescent Ridge, Summit Valley, history, done. Now we get into activity 5. And at your facility, what's your coordination and collaboration look like? Okay, so it's important to think critically about what coordination tools and routines do you use at your facility that work really, really well? And are there others that maybe you can enhance on, i.e., simple things like radio communication? Are you taking advantage of any type of apps or any type of technology or any type of players pace of play technology or anything like that? Things that can make your operation a lot smoother. So again, what are you using now? And what are working, what are not working? What do you think you can enhance it by? Can you do a little bit better aggressively in social media? How do you communicate with your players, whether they're members or they're guests? So again, coordination and collaboration. And there's 2 parts to this. One is internally, meaning within your golf operation. So the first one is coordination and collaboration within the golf operation. So what are you using? What tools and routines are you using to coordinate within golf operation? Okay. What are the most successful out of those tools that you're using? What are the least successful? And what are areas you think that would really enhance the operational quality and the effectiveness of the golf operation? So you're really doing an assessment, professionals, on how are you coordinating it within your golf operation. And then the second part of it is coordinating beyond the golf operation. How are you coordinating within and beyond? Beyond is, here's some great examples here, working with maintenance. Here's some routine practices. What tools or routines are in place to help you coordinate? What tools are in place regarding their experience? So again, going through each of these, you can actually work with your superintendent on this or an assistant superintendent. And then what you want to do, once this area is filled out, you're going to actually upload an example. It may be an email that you sent out. We have a frost delay. We got a rain delay. We have 4 inches of rain last night, things like that. So again, really cool activity. Now we get into, again, just show an example of something that you would use for your communication within the golf operation and outside of operation. And then activity 6 is basically yield management. That is, we call it revenue management, yield management. At your own facility, you're analyzing your play. You're analyzing your play by day. You're analyzing your play by hour. So really get an understanding of your facility's play and revenue patterns. You want to think critically, and you want to create a really, really good analysis of your tee times and your revenues to really get, and I know you all know your tee sheet better than anybody, but this really can open up your eyes and get you in a position. So what you're going to do here is you're going to look at it and be really, really honest with yourself and analyze the tee sheet and describe the playing patterns. What are your busy days? What are your slow days of the week? What are your busy times of the days? What are the slow times of the days? And what do you think the reasons are why the golf course is busy or slow during those times that you just allocated to us? So again, you're looking at it. This is such a hot topic because, especially in the public facility, what's your revenue? Your revenue around. So being able to capitalize on revenue management, yield management through your tee sheet is huge. On the private side, a lot of private facilities are, is there an opportunity to bring in outings? Is there an opportunity to bring in, guests, certain amount of unaccompanied guests, certain times of the day? It can help you with that. If you're ever challenged to look at maybe going from private to semi-private, this can really give you a good analysis to show to your board of directors, here's what we can do. Here's our times that are high. Here's our times that are low. Even though I know you all know them, private professionals especially, members are habit-driven. We know that. But this really validates you, who you are, and your operational experience and knowledge that you have along the way. So activity 6A is actually a tee sheet. You're going to go ahead and take a tee sheet. You get it through your point of sale system. We're looking for 1 day per month. So if it's, let's say it's July, Friday. So you're going to do 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks if needed, depends on the month that you pick, but 4 Fridays in July. So July, 4 Fridays. And you're going to actually put in here the inventory, individual rounds made per hour between 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9, 9 and 10, and so forth. So you're going to put in the rounds available, which is your inventory. How would you get that? It's based on your intervals, isn't it? So if you have a 10-minute interval, for instance, that's 24 players per hour. So we're doing 4 weeks. So 4 times 24, you would put 96 in there based on 10-minute intervals. And let's say you fill up 25 slots out of 96. That's your percent of rounds filled. That's what this is all about. What's your inventory? What have you sold? What has not been sold? And what's your percent of rounds filled? That's what we want. We want to try to maximize and fill in the best, highest utilization as possible in most cases. Some facilities may be happy, but this is really a good thing to understand. If you don't have tee times at your facility, don't say make it up, but do your best. You know your facility. So you really want to be able to show the knowledge in this activity by understanding what revenue management, what yield management is. So what's your total revenue per hour? So if I have 50 players filled and my revenue is $1,000, 50 divided by 1,000, that would be your revenue per hour filled. So this is what this is all about. Utilizing what amount of inventory you have, how many of those times have you filled. So if you have 96 here and you filled 86, that means you have 10 unfilled. And then your percentage would be 86 divided by 96. And then whatever the dollar amount is and your revenue per hour. Really, really, really cool activity. Great knowledge for you to take with you for your career, because I can almost guarantee it's going to be brought up somewhere along the way. Remember, 76% of the clubs in America have public access. So again, always being an expert in tee time management, in revenue management, in yield management is a tremendous asset for all of you. So there's our 6 activities. Again, understanding more detailed. We're not looking for yes, no's. You put your best effort into it. If you're struggling with a particular question, please call the mentor line, and certainly we'll rock you through it. Don't stress over it, because the whole idea here is all the activities have to be passed. You turn your portfolio in. We don't look at one activity at a time. We look at the portfolio when it's completely turned in at 100%. We have up to 30 days to turn it back, and hopefully you pass. Once you've fulfilled all the activities, then you're able to test out. If you miss an activity 2 or 3, then you got to wait 30 days to resubmit it. And again, I'd recommend, if that happens to you, is get on a phone with the mentor and figure out what went wrong there. Okay. Again, do your best effort. Don't over stress over it. If you prepare yourself, put a lot of detail into it, and really take it to heart, I'm very, very confident that you'll be ready to go. Again, great stuff. This is just such a great thing that the South Florida PGA section is doing. You know, Jeff and I and Meredith talked about it when I decided not to go to Texas, and said, let's support the staff. It's lonely sometimes. I don't know how much support you're getting at the club, but that doesn't matter. The main thing is this curriculum changes so much, and this is very current. So again, we want you to become a PGA member. There's nothing more prouder than a PGA of America national office, section office, that you become a comma PGA. That's what it is at the end of the day. Remember, it's a career, not a job, right? So take your time, do a great job. And as I always say, and the staff always tease me, is rock the house and kick some butt. Okay. So that was it, Meredith.